Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of All in Our Business Podcast, the show where we discuss hot and controversial relationship topics while sharing our love journey along the way. I'm your host, TC.
And I'm your girl, Kiki.
And we got another interesting episode for you tonight. Very, very important one, I think, again.
Absolutely.
It's on forgiveness. Which is definitely an element of every relationship, because there's going to be times where you're going to have to forgive somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to wrong you.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, we just had an episode this week where we both had to forgive each other.
We did.
So it's very relative.
We did. And we ain't ashamed to say it. We
Absolutely.
did. Because we are not perfect and we all have our little moments.
Yeah.
It was necessary, and as we say all the time, we learned something from it.
Yes.
So we definitely learned something from this dust up that we had this week.
Absolutely.
We was able to get through it and move forward and
still love each other.
I think
that's so very important to be able to truly forgive and keep on moving. But before we go any further, we want to thank a new follower on All in Our Business Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
We want to thank Sean.
I think it's Lady Sean, as she's indicated on IG. So thank you for following us.
Yes.
I actually had a conversation with her this week. I guess late last week. Just about podcasts. I called just to kind of check in on her. And she was telling me, we've been listening to it. We've been listening in.
Thank you, Sean.
She said a couple of things have changed in her relationship. They're doing a couple of things that they weren't doing before. So,
hit the claps. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Not just hearing, but implementing.
Mm-hmm. And then we also we're up over 300, and I think we're at 370 downloads.
Okay.
So we're gonna keep pressing forward. We're gonna keep moving on.
Absolutely. And in the words of Sean and a few other people that have requested it, we're gonna try to start doing some video podcasts as well.
That was a hot topic. That definitely was a request. We would like to see. They want to see our facial expressions and how we are doing things on the actual podcast. People are like, we're cracking up on how y'all interact, and we want to actually see it. So we're going to work on that, and we're going to see if we can do some video podcasts. We might not do it every week,
right?
But for special shows, like I said, I think I mentioned it last week, when we do the men versus women show, we're definitely going to try to video that, so y'all can see the interaction between the men and the women on that particular episode.
So definitely more forthcoming from the two of us. So stay tuned.
Yep.
So before we go any further, babe, kick us off with the scripture of the week.
Yep, that scripture this week is from Luke 17:4.
Okay. How does that read?
It reads, even if that person wrongs you 7 times a day, and each time turns again and asks forgiveness, you must forgive.
Woo! Say it again, baby. That was just real good.
Even if that person wrongs you, I said it, they did you wrong. They did you dirty. And they do it 7 times in one day. And each time they do it, they turn to you and say, can you forgive me, please? You must forgive.
Woo. That's deep.
That's straight Bible for your tushy. I want to say something else.
Right.
That's straight Bible for you.
From the Bible.
And we as humans, that is darn sure not the easiest thing to do.
No.
Somebody wrongs you, the first thing you want to do, I gotta get my clap back.
Yep. Not 7 times in that day. The
right, they do it the first time, I'm getting my clap back.
Absolutely.
But that ain't what God says to do. Especially if they ask for forgiveness.
And it's even worse. I mean, we're going to get into it further in the episode today, but it's even worse when they don't ask for forgiveness and you still have to forgive that person.
That is extremely difficult. Gosh. You hear me? Extremely difficult. But hey, it is what it is.
It's required, though. It's very important.
It is.
Yeah. So let me ask, I guess let's start off by saying, what does forgiveness mean? And I think to different people it probably means something
forgiveness
different.
Of course you can have the Webster definition, but we ain't even going to touch that tonight. Because forgiveness is literally unique to every individual. Some people are able to forgive quickly and easily. Some people, they hold grudges for years. So forgiveness is definitely different for each individual person. I would say for myself, forgiveness is knowing that person wronged you. And for me, I tend to not harbor and hold on to things. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm not gonna say I'm an eager person to forgive, but I'm more willing to forgive because I know holding on to things can cause you internal stress, can cause you to have issues, and it doesn't benefit neither one of y'all. Mm-hmm. So whoever you angry or frustrated with, you not forgiving them is not just hurting them, it's hurting you.
Yeah. And also what I've learned is forgiveness releases me from carrying the burden of the anger, the hatred, the resentment, and it frees me from that.
That is true.
So instead of me walking around and I'm holding all of that inside, I'm free because I was like, you know what, I have to forgive that person.
Mm-hmm. Even if you don't want to.
Yeah. And even if they're not deserving of it.
And sometimes they're not.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you because I feel like you're always truly deserving of forgiveness. I really do. Because we always have a conversation. But there's times where, of course, probably in the heat of the moment, I may feel like, I ain't trying to forgive him.
I ain't talking to that.
And we've had this conversation where you sometimes felt like, for me, it was hard for me to ask for forgiveness, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that was just who I was. Mm-hmm. Or I had to feel like I was doing something wrong to necessarily request your forgiveness. And I didn't feel like I was doing anything wrong. So case in point, like if I said something to you and you was like, I didn't like how you said that. And I'm like, well, I didn't say it like that. I didn't mean for it to be said like that. And you were like, but that's how I perceived it. Mm-hmm. And instead of me quickly saying, oh, I'm sorry that you felt that way because that wasn't the intent, I was quick to justify why I felt. Exactly. Yeah. So we had to work through that. And I had to understand, I'm not necessarily saying forgive me because I was oblivious to how it came off, but I need you to forgive me because how it made you feel.
Yeah, and just the other day, that was kind of what we got into.
Yeah,
it was more so I took it the way I took it, you took it the way you took it, but the problem with us for this particular one, and you know how we always talk about communication, we say it all the time on this, we didn't communicate about it.
Right.
And for us, it caused the issue. A big issue.
Yeah.
A big dust up.
Yeah. And even more so, we've had the conversation that you feel like I didn't communicate quick enough. And I agree that I probably didn't because the timing wasn't right. Mm-hmm. But we also agreed that even if it's not in your timing, perhaps, that we can agree that I'll say, hey, here's the issue.
Something's bothering me.
Something is bothering me.
You might not be able to talk about it right now.
But give me some time so I can process it so I can come to you the right way. Mm-hmm. And I am big on guarding what you say out your mouth because those things you cannot take back.
You can't take them back. You can't.
And I feel like your words can be more damaging than a punch. Like you can hit me, not you. But I'm just saying a person perhaps can hit me and I'll be like, whatever, I got over that. The bruise is healed, whatever. But it's damaging to me if you say something. The words,
because I can keep. If you're the type of person where you think about things a lot internally, you can internally have that in your mind at all times.
Absolutely.
And it just keeps recurring in your mind.
Absolutely.
And that's definitely not good for you because you're not going to want to forgive that person because you keep hearing it in your head.
Absolutely.
This is what they said. This is what they said to me. They said this. They said that. And you just can't let it go. And that's what forgiveness is letting it go.
Mm-hmm. So how do you do that?
For one, it's darn sure not the easiest thing. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert at forgiveness.
But I will say, between the two of us, I think that you are.
I am more forgiving, probably.
Okay, well, just go ahead and just go ahead with it. That's what I was going to say.
No. Let me say it. No, let me say it.
Absolutely. No, that's what I was going to say.
No, but I'm not going to say I'm the more forgiving person. I'm quicker to forgive.
Oh, okay.
I would say it like that. I'm not necessarily because you're able to forgive me for things and I do things wrong. Yeah. But I'm eager and more quicker at forgiving.
Okay.
Because as we've talked about it, I'm more of a free spirit. I'm more of a calm type of person. So I don't really let things rattle me. Mm-hmm. And for me, I don't let things rattle me because I knew who I was when I was fry or younger. Mm-hmm. I had some extreme anger issues. Mm-hmm. So I know if I go there, you might not like that person that you see. So over the years, I have grown to the point where I don't let things anger me because I know I can be a totally different person if I'm angry. And if anybody have seen me angry, you know, like, who the hell is that?
Right.
I ain't never seen this dude because they think, oh, he's quiet, he's real calm, he's even killed. Nah, when I go there, I go there. You know, like the movie Incredible Hulk. It's almost like that. I turn into that green monster.
Oh yeah. And
you can't stop.
No.
You can't bring me back.
That's so true.
So for me, I am real guarded with forgiveness because I know if I don't forgive and it festers inside of me, I might not be able to control it. And that's the last thing I want, especially with you. I don't want to do that. So you've never seen the Hulk. Right. You might have seen something mild, a mild version, but you've never seen the Hulk. And I can tell you that honestly. You've never seen the Hulk. So, and I never want you to see the Hulk. Right. I don't want you to experience that because that's not a person I want to ever recreate, and especially in this loving relationship that we are in. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So again, do you think that you practice forgiveness, or it just comes from you're more forgiving because it comes from your past of?
No, I think I practice forgiveness because I'm not that type of person where I harbor things.
Okay.
And it's a portion of me, me knowing myself and know I can get angry and I can go there. But it's also a portion of me where I know life is precious and I know moments and things like that. I cherish those things. So I never want to hold on to stuff. That's why, when we talk and we say, we never want to go to bed angry with each other. That's why I feel that way, because I don't know. I could not wake up tomorrow morning. And if the last thing you remember was us having an argument, going to bed, and we never talked about it, that's going to fester and that's going to be inside of you. Right. And even though, you didn't cause me to die, that you might feel it was partially your fault. You might feel responsible for it. Absolutely. And that's the last way you want to feel when someone, you lost a loved one. You don't want to think you're the reason.
But I think also for us, because we love each other, I think it's hard not to be able to forgive the person. So there's moments, and we've talked about this, there's moments where we both annoy each other and we have little dust ups, and in that moment, the heat of the moment, we act out of anger.
That is true.
Or out of frustration, and we're not thinking about forgiveness. And then later on, we and it don't take long, at least for myself, I'm like, that was not right. I need to go back to him. And although it's taken me some time to say the actual words, please forgive me, but I know now that I'm able to say it quicker than what I was before, because I don't want you angry, and I want us, to always be in a loving,
being a state of peace within a relationship.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nobody wants a toxic relationship where everything is arguments, everything's fussing. Nobody wants that. Yeah. You want to feel like, okay, this is love. Every morning I wake up, I feel love. Yeah. Every moment I'm with this person, I feel love. Yeah. You do not want to be like, he get on my damn nerves. I can't stand that.
And I think it's a part of maturing as a person.
It is.
To me, it's more mature for me to come to you and say, babe, that didn't go right. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. And now we got this little running thing that I'll say something and you'll say, is that what we doing? Right. Like you give me a little, like a warning.
That's like my little hint.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Babe, I'm so sorry.
And I'm not trying to say it like that.
Yeah. And we had this conversation, I think it was yesterday, when I had asked you to tell me something that I do that I can kind of work on. And you were telling me how oftentimes you think that I'm joking with you, but really I'm not joking. Yeah. So you're kind of confused on if I'm joking or if I am not joking with you. Right. And that kind of annoys you sometimes.
It does.
So I've learned.
Because I'll say something and I'm thinking we're joking and you get kind of upset about it. And I'm like, what's wrong?
I thought we were joking.
And I was like, I thought we were just joking.
Yeah.
And he was like, no. Yeah. I didn't like that.
Right. So even in that, I say that to say that even in that, I'm learning to recognize when things are unclear and provide that clarity or quickly provide that forgiveness to you. Babe, let me let you know I'm so sorry. I was not joking, or I'm so sorry. I was joking. It's not that deep. And tell you that. And once I tell you that, it kind of, and I've seen that over the last few hours, that even when if you look like you're confused that is this a joke or is it not? Right. And I think earlier today you was like, are you joking? Right. Are you telling me?
She was driving, coming back from somewhere. Yeah. And I was just like, and she said something. And I was like, This is one of those moments I'm trying to understand. Is this a joke or are you serious?
You serious?
He's like,
Yeah.
I was just messing with you.
Exactly. But I think, again, those moments, even though we're laughing, could be something that can quickly
Turn into something.
can turn into something. You getting upset, why you always blah, 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 and I'm getting upset, blah, 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 we clashing and things like that. And instead, thankfully, I asked you, what are some things that I do that, kind of annoy you, and I'm able to now pick up on it a little bit more so I can quickly identify it and then ask for forgiveness if it's bothering you so much.
I mean, you have those moments, as you call it. You like to check in with me.
Yeah.
And I honestly love those moments because it's a chance for me to be open about our relationship, and it's I say it, and this is how I say it. It's that moment for me to be vulnerable, even if it's something that you might not necessarily want to hear.
Right. That's
so
true.
when I first, and I this is the way I worded it. I said, sometimes your humor is dry and a little confusing. And she looked at me like, what? You trying to call me dry?
Right.
Like a desert? And I was like, no.
We got another running joke for that.
Yes, another running joke for that. We're gonna leave that alone. But for me, it was an opportunity for me to tell her how I really felt, and not feel like I was gonna be attacked.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was a good moment for me to tell her I'm a little confused when I don't know if you're really joking or not, because the way your humor comes out, it doesn't. For me, I'm laughing when I tell a joke, or I'm gonna say real quick, babe, I was just joking.
We're gonna leave that alone tonight. Because not all the time. You say stuff and you be looking around and no one's laughing and you're like...
It's not about nobody laughing. I'm laughing myself.
Oh, well, we don't hear you laughing.
I'm laughing in my head.
Oh, I know. So let me ask you to think back to a time in our relationship or maybe even in another relationship where you were deeply hurt by something that your partner did to you.
Okay, I'm gonna be real transparent here.
Please.
And don't take this the wrong way, anybody who's listening. But there was a time before my late wife passed, and I didn't take it as a bad thing. I'd never looked at her, in a bad way after this happened. I always looked at it because she was dealing with what she was dealing with physically. I never looked at anything she did and thought it was her, per se.
Okay.
I kind of looked past the things that she was doing. And I'll say this in the same light. There was her stepfather had cancer and he passed. And we were kind of there during the whole time, right? And the boys were young. I think Colin might have been maybe 2 or 3 years old when he passed. And so he was dealing with cancer and he didn't want people around. So he would be like real ornery and mean towards the kids. Like, get out. Yelling at them to get out the room and stuff, right? And Colin is that kind of kid where he's sort of like me. He doesn't take things personal. He kind of looks past what the person's dealing with and knows that person is not that person at that moment. So Colin would continually go in the room and lay on the floor in front of him. And he'd be telling Colin, get out, go back out. And Colin would move. No, Pop, I'm going to stay here, Pop. I'm going to stay right here, Pop, with you. And that's how Colin took it. And you could see Mr. Jackson would be kind of torn because I guess he felt a certain kind of way because of what he was dealing with.
Absolutely. But
he knew that boy was just so stubborn he wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah.
So he would kind of lighten up and like, okay, all right, I guess I got to talk to the little boy.
Right.
And the moment I had, which sorry to get off track, y'all, but the moment I had was my wife was dealing with the cancer, or my late wife was dealing with the cancer, and I don't even know, we were talking about something, and she just kind of snapped and swung at me. Okay. And actually hit me.
You got a duck.
I'm not thinking that's coming.
Right.
Just being honest.
Right.
And for me, and I think I probably did handle it not the best of ways because I tried, and me, as we've said, I can take things and turn it into a joke, even if it's something serious. So my first words to her was, well, at least you know I ain't got no glass jaw. That was my first words. And I think that even pissed her off more, where she wanted to swing more. So, I had to grab her and kind of hold her to try to calm her down. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And she just told me, I guess she was feeling some kind of way about dealing with the chemo and all of that.
Yeah.
And it was just too heavy for her that she just, that emotion or whatever she felt, she just, at that moment, that's how she felt. And as I said, I didn't take it personal.
Okay.
She never came back and apologized or anything or said anything, but I never held that against her.
That's good. So did you forgive her at that moment, or did it take you some time to forgive her?
Honestly, I forgave her at that moment.
Wow.
Because in my mind and my thought process was, that's not her.
That's good, babe.
You know what I'm saying? I never, we've had arguments when our marriage or whatever, but I never seen her like that.
Okay. So you knew it wasn't
her. So I thought that's not her. My mind immediately went to, this is not her.
Right.
And I didn't take, like I said, I didn't take it personal. I didn't get mad at her. I didn't want to, I didn't try to swing back or do nothing.
Yeah.
And we didn't, to be honest with you, I don't even think we talked about it after it happened.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't harbor nothing. I'm not sleeping in the bed with you. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking to you none of your appointments.
Right.
None of that even crossed my mind. My whole thought process was, that's not the person I know.
That's true.
So I never looked at it like that.
Well, I would say two things. First, I think I commend you for that, because you are truly a man of God and you acted in that particular realm. A lot of men easily, right? Because you just see
instinct.
Absolutely.
Instinct.
You just see something coming at you, and the first thing you about to do is throw up your guards, and you about to hit back. And not like you said, it's just going for instinct. It's not based upon, oh my God, this is a woman. That's not what I was trying to do. So I wanted to commend you for that. But even more so, taking it a step further, to look past that person to see there's something more that you're dealing with that caused you to react this way. And I think that's a huge takeaway. Oftentimes we're so quick to have anger or bitterness towards a person. It can be our spouse or a person you see out in the store or whatever. And even, I know you didn't see Straw, but the Tyler Perry, and I know everybody probably feeling a certain type of way about Tyler Perry.
It's the talk of social media right now.
But Straw, his latest film on Netflix, like the lady was dealing with so much. And people didn't know why she was responding the way she was or why she was trying to go out and, in quotes, rob a bank to be able to get what she needed for her family and to provide or whatever. But I think it just speaks to people. You don't know what someone is going through.
You don't.
And people sometimes lash out because that's their way of just getting it out. And so often we put up a guard. Like
some people don't even know why they're doing what they're doing.
They don't, babe. They really do not. And it happens in relationships too. You as a man dealing with whatever, me as a female maybe have hormonal issues or whatever, and I don't know, and I just come at you, or you just come at me, or you do something that's not normal, or you do something that maybe is normal, and then just respond differently. But you have to be able to have a heart to be able to see a person and realize, okay, something is going on. This is a little deeper. So let me forgive that person, because, and I think in the Bible it says, forgive them for they do not know. And sometimes people do not. And even for my own self, when I went through my divorce from my ex-husband, there was a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of resentment that I had to heal from within my own self, right? And a lot of it was as a result of things that occurred in our marriage. And I never got that, I guess, closure, if you want to say, from him to come back to say, Kiki, I apologize for this, that, and the other. I'm sorry for blah, 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 blah. And I was left to do all of the healing, to do the hard work on my own. So sometimes you have to forgive people that don't even come back and ask for forgiveness or don't even deserve necessarily forgiveness. Because I'm thinking, you're my husband. You're supposed to protect me and be there for me. I shouldn't be receiving hurt from you. And you're the one that is hurting me. And then even so, after that, you still just walk on. Forget you.
Your life done moved on. I'm on to the next thing.
I'm gone. But I'm like, Kiki, I can't hold on to that. So I had to forgive so that the weight was lifted off of me. Right. So I can move on. And then even a part of that, like what we're saying here, is that I had to realize, even if this was the person that the person was, I still had to say, it has to be a deeper reason why you were acting
some
like
other
that.
reason why you
Absolutely. So again, I had to tap back into the word to say, I gotta forgive you because you really do not know. Because if you knew, you wouldn't be acting like this.
That's
you know.
true.
So I guess a good point for us to remember for forgiveness is just moving on and realizing sometimes people may be just dealing with what they dealing with, and just be easy.
Life is heavy, and as I say all the time, heavy is the crown.
I swear
that you're carrying.
I swear, yes. But do you think there's a reward for forgiveness?
I think there is, and I think the reward is
peace,
the stress and the peace that you get to obtain, so that your stress level is gone because you don't deal with it. Like I hate to share this, but during our dust up this week, as you've heard us talk about, I like to talk about things, communicate about the things as quickly as possible because I don't want to hold on to them.
That's true.
And in this particular situation, I didn't have that opportunity. So what I did, and I woke up and I was having a headache, and I just felt like I was feeling chest pains like that day. And I literally sit there and wrote Kiki a letter.
You did. Hold on, 4-page letter.
Yes, it was 4-page letter. I sit there and wrote my feelings down.
You did.
And as I told her later when we had an actual chance to talk about it, I felt so much relief just writing it down to get it off of my chest. Even though we hadn't physically sit down and had an open conversation about it, just writing my feelings down on that paper allowed me to relieve some of what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't, she was at work, so we couldn't have that candid or courageous conversation at work. You got some nosy people at work. They won't be all in your business. All in our business, but
they still are.
They still are. But for me, that relieves some of what that heaviness that was on my chest, that was on my mind. And of course, she read it and she was like, "Thank you for expressing how you felt," and I didn't know you felt that way pertaining to the situation. And then, later on when we talked about it, it was a lot easier to have that conversation because she knew how I felt now.
Yes.
I already knew how she felt because she had texted me what she had to say. So I had already knew, and we both had a clear understanding of what the other person was feeling.
And I think because you were able to articulate in writing how you felt, it alleviated you for being too emotional when we actually did have the conversation.
Very true.
And although we prayed right before, before we had the conversation, but I also feel as if those emotions and that heaviness and all of that
it was kind of already.
So we can literally just focus.
It was decreased.
So we can literally just focus on the issue that we had. Yeah. So what would you say are some steps to forgiving a person that has done you wrong, or forgiving your spouse because you're still with that person, right? So it may be hard to see them every day knowing they hurt you or they did something very deep to you. So how do you kind of resolve that or go through that?
One, for me, you really have to look at the situation, whatever it may be. I can't think of nothing off the top of my head, or maybe I can. Maybe let's say the person cheated on you. You really have to think about the situation and look at that person beyond what happened. Because a lot of times, and I hate to say it like this, a lot of times women want to play the victim when sometimes they're the culprit.
Well, and what happened this week? We had a conversation with somebody on the job.
We did. Well, I didn't. You did.
I did.
Well, one of us did.
Kind of both of us.
Both of us did. But in all honesty, women sometimes will play their part or play their role, but not be completely in that relationship.
Give me an example, because this is again.
Well, I'm trying not to give.
Okay, well, don't even talk about this. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So, and I know I have a friend who is married, in a relationship. Their husband and their wife, but they kind of tend to separate things when it comes to their relationship.
What kind of
I do this, you do that.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of, we don't do things together.
Okay.
Everybody has their role. So let's say I'm the husband, and my role is I make the money, I provide, but I don't really do anything around the house. I don't help out. I don't cook.
Okay.
I don't clean. But then the other person also works, but they're handling everything around the house plus working. Where I'm the husband, all I do is work and come home and I just kick my feet up and relax.
But if that's the standard of that relationship, so go ahead.
So, but it's not about the standard. It's about the role. So when me as a husband want to come to my wife and say, babe, I'm feeling it, I need a little something tonight. She's tired because she's been doing everything in the house on top of going to work at a regular job and then coming home and cleaning and cooking and doing all that. And then I ask her for something, she doesn't have the energy for it. So as a man, am I the culprit or is it the woman?
Okay, so what if she don't go ahead?
Go ahead.
No, you put your finger like
no, you go ahead. I want to hear what you
What
want to
if
say.
she didn't want to relinquish any of those duties to you? She said, this is her role, this is what she wants to do. I don't trust you, you can clean the way I can clean. You can't handle these kids the way I want to handle them. So she takes on all of these tasks.
But she's taking them on just to be taking them on. Not necessarily to ask for help.
Right.
She's not asking me to do anything around the house.
Okay, so is it your role to just go and step in and do the thing?
In a perfect world, yes, that would be the case. But if that person doesn't want you to do it, let's say, for example, and I can't remember who this couple is. I'm sorry for that as well. But they do these little skits on Instagram or Facebook where, let's say, the husband comes home and I think the last one I saw, the husband she was washing clothes and he said, babe, I got this gray sweater in here.
Yeah,
Please don't put it in the dryer.
Right.
It's one of my favorite sweaters and I don't want it to shrink.
Right.
And she was distracted when she started drying clothes and she accidentally put the gray sweater in.
She had an important telephone call.
No, her mom called. It wasn't important. She just got distracted. No, I remember this one. So it wasn't important. It was just her mom called and she got distracted gossiping about whatever.
Okay.
And she just kind of was just throwing the clothes in and didn't pay attention.
Yes.
So when he comes home, he looks in the dryer, he sees this, I guess he was looking for it, he finds it in there. He said, babe, did you put my thing in it? You're going to shrink it, right?
Oh, you already shrunk it, so he was upset about it.
He was a little upset, but she goes, I'm so sorry, I got distracted, and she apologized.
She did.
She apologized.
She did.
And he quickly, even though I know in his mind he probably had anger, he quickly accepted the apology because she said it with genuineness. She didn't say it with no attitude.
But she also told him that she was distracted and she had this, that, and the other going on. And it wasn't like it was an intentional.
Right, it wasn't intentional.
Right.
And then she even offered, she was like, babe, I'll buy you another one.
Yeah, she did say
and
that.
he sat down, he's like, no, you don't have to buy me another one. Just you apologizing is enough.
It's enough. Yeah.
And that's what I say. Sometimes you got to be quick to forgive the person.
You do.
Or look past. He could have very easily been in his feelings about a sweatshirt and took it somewhere it didn't need to go. When in reality, she just kind of got distracted, which we all do from time to time.
We do.
I could be watching a game and you tell me to do something, and an hour later I haven't done it because I was watching the game.
More like the next day, right? So
that's what we doing. This what we doing.
I'm sorry, baby. I apologize.
But it can very easily happen. So that's why, even the case what I say with my late wife, that's what I did. I looked past the situation and I knew that's not her.
Right. But sometimes in the heat of the moments, TC, it is too hard to be let me just look past, because I'm mad because you didn't do, or you know that you did something wrong that you shouldn't have done. And right now we're not looking past, we're not doing anything else, we're just dealing with this particular situation. We're going straight here. Because let's say, for example, if I asked you all this week I need you to focus on cleaning out the closet. Monday, okay, I got you, babe. Tuesday, okay, babe, I'm about to do it. Wednesday, we sit down, we get started. Thursday, you say you're going to finish it. Now we on Friday, and the stuff is still not done.
Sunday, and it still ain't done.
And now we on month 6 with TC.
Month 6?
With TC, and it still ain't done. And when I come home and I just throw the house upside down.
I can't wait till we start videotaping. You see her rolling her eyes and tipping her head, shaking her neck. She like a bobblehead right now.
That video from last week of us going on the walk when you messing with me, and you got enough of the visuals right there. But no. So then I'm like, listen, we've been at this for 6 months now and we haven't had any resolution. Come on, this is unacceptable. And I go off. And you're like, I'm gonna really decide. And I'm like, but I gotta forgive him because he what? I gotta look past it. No, I can't keep looking past it. So I think sometimes people use that as a pass or maybe as a crutch to be like, oh, they're gonna forgive me because they just gotta know I got a lot going on. I got this. Okay. Sometimes your actions are just unacceptable. So in those moments, I think you do have to apologize and come back and say, I'm so sorry. That wasn't right. It should have been done. Take accountability, what we talked about, and to say, okay, I'm going to make a change and go ahead and correct the behavior.
That's true.
You agree with that?
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's probably the hardest part of the forgiveness. Is just recognizing what the situation is. If you can't recognize what the situation is and can't look beyond your feelings, it's hard to even start the process of forgiving someone.
That's true.
So I think that's probably, as we were just trying to talk about, that's probably one of the most important steps. Is actually as reflection and looking at what the issue is. A lot of times we don't really look at what the issue is as people. We just react on our feelings.
Yeah.
When sometimes that's not going to help.
Yeah,
you got to be able to reflect and see what the issue is to even know if it's a problem that even garners you being angry about it.
Yeah, I think that's what one of your favorite scriptures in the Bible talk about, like quick to, like be slow to anger. Slow to speak and quick to listen. Yes, yeah. Because you really, really, really have to just slow down and really fully comprehend what's really going on. Definitely. And then I will say, lastly, a part of forgiveness is probably one of the most important is forgetting. Like for me, if you say that I forgive you, I don't want you bringing it back up next week. I forgave you for that. I should never forgave you. Or you still talking and you harboring it. Like if you're gonna forgive me, forget about it and don't bring it back up no more.
Very true.
Otherwise, you haven't forgiven me.
No, because that means it's still lingering inside.
And I think to me that's even because I understand if you come to me and be like, baby, I can't forgive you for that action. At least I know it. But if you come to me and you're like, I forgive you, but every moment you get, you're bringing it back up to me, then you didn't really forgive me. So I'm gonna be sitting there like, you're not really.
You saying it, but
your actions are not aligned into this.
Yeah.
So for me, a critical part of forgiveness is the ability to forgive and forget and keep it moving. Yeah. So, what do you want to say?
I want to get to that quickie.
Okay, let's get to the quickie.
So the quickie, we got a good one for y'all tonight, y'all. So the quickie question of the day or of the episode is: if your partner cheats on you, man or woman, but they cheat out of lust, and they tell you, "I still love you. I just had a moment."
What does that mean?
What you mean? What does that mean?
That's what I mean. If they cheated out of lust, I don't care if you cheated out of lust. I don't care if you cheated thinking that you was following the Bible. You cheated.
Oh.
Now I'm supposed to still forgive you?
That's what that scripture we read already.
What did the scripture say?
I loved you 7 times today.
No.
So I slept with 7
different women. Nah. Ain't that ain't what God said.
Whatever. But the background.
Ain't that one of the commandments?
Yeah.
So that's right.
Yeah.
So no.
But listen to where I'm going with this.
God, cut it off, Lord. He don't need it no more.
Stop, babe. I need that.
No, we don't.
I do. No, but I asked this question in respect to, they say men are able to cheat and do it out of lust and literally can come home and still be in love with that person they were with. For women,
so it's more physical for men.
It's more physical. It's definitely more physical. Now, for women, I don't think that's possible because y'all are more emotional. So, and they say this all the time. So, if a man becomes emotionally attached to that person that he's having an affair with or he slept with, it's worse than him just sleeping with that person. Because you can get over. Men can literally just have sex with somebody and forget about that person the next day. That's the truth of the matter. That's how men work. We don't operate where, oh man, she was like that. We could literally sleep with that woman, and tomorrow we don't remember her name.
Well, I'm going to remember.
That's you because you're emotional.
That's
women
right. So
are going to remember that.
I can't forgive you. That's the answer for me.
I'm not asking you to forgive me because I didn't do nothing.
That's right. I'm thankful.
Let's put that out there real quick. I don't need her getting no attitude, waking up in the middle of the night. You were cheating on me. Baby, that was a scenario that we brought up, a hypothetical we brought up on the podcast, man. That was not real.
Put that weapon down.
Take that clip out there, please, man. But no, so do you feel it's more so worse for a man to be emotionally attached to a woman or physically attached to a woman?
I would definitely agree emotionally. Once a man is emotionally attached, I think everything is, he's all the way there, is what I would say, if he emotionally did. His mind, his heart, everything, he's connected to that woman in another way, in another realm, versus to if you just cheated with a woman, or you just with a woman because she had a big butt, or you just want to
she got big titties. I like them big titties. I'm just giving an example, baby.
Something
I'm
physical.
not allowed to say titties on this
podcast. Something physical. If there was something physical.
You said big butt, man.
Okay, listen.
Butts and guts.
Anyway, back to the question. So for me, I think it definitely is more intense if a man
is
emotionally attached to a woman versus to just being there physically to the woman. However, for me, whether it's emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever, you're still there. That's problematic regardless. So I don't care if you just like, I'm just there because of her butt, or I'm just there because of the or whatever. You're there. So I don't like that regardless. So that's going to be hard for me to forgive. And that's just my opinion. Okay. Some women may say, okay, if it's just emotional, but not if it is emotional, no, I can't forgive you. But if it's physical, then I can forgive you. Okay. I don't think for many women that I know it's bad, it's worse emotionally, but I think for women overall, cheating is cheating.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's necessarily levels to it. Or I can forgive you if it's just physical. I'm still upset that you did it. Now, if it's emotional, like I said, I feel like that really had all of you.
So what if that cheating situation, whether it be just physical, came from my wife has been neglecting me for years, and I've been asking for certain things from her, and she just won't give them to me.
And she's been asking for certain things from you too, because I don't think that if you're doing everything you're supposed to do, she's just not going to be doing what she's supposed to do. Or maybe she's not. But then you need to go to the divorce court and get the divorce before going out cheating. So it's no reason for you to go cheating. So no.
Okay, baby.
But go ahead and finish.
No, but I was going to say, so let's say we haven't had sex in months. And I've been asking, babe, can we just kind of get some time, maybe go away for a weekend just to have me and you time so we can reconnect? And she keeps putting it off and saying, I got other things I got to do. I can't do that right now. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then you just, okay, well, whatever. I got to go somewhere. And while you're out, this woman just comes up to you and she makes you feel special. Something your spouse hasn't done in months or sometimes even years. And automatically you're like, I haven't felt like this in so long. You just kind of gravitate to that.
Absolutely.
And like I said, it's more so, okay, boom, she's showing me all the attention that I desire and want from my spouse.
Yeah.
So is that not partially that spouse's issue, or she kind of led you to that?
Yeah, I would definitely say she had an impact on it, definitely. Is she 100% responsible?
No.
Because
they're both responsible.
Absolutely, but you still have to understand, regardless, through better or worse, the vows that you made, you are still committed to that wife or that person that you gave your vows to. So you need to go back and solve that problem first. If you can't solve that problem, then you need to do whatever you need to do to end that relationship before going to something else. But you don't need to you're not going to get a pass. I'm not going to give you a pass and be like, oh, because I wasn't giving you some at home, you okay to go out here and get some from somewhere else. You're never allowed to go out here and get something.
But how does that
But I'm not. Hold on. I was going to say I'm not off the hook for my part in my role of it. Absolutely. I may have led you down to that road, but at the same token, when you get there, you should be able to say, "Oh no, I need to make a U-turn because this isn't right." Exactly. So, but I think a lot of times people do contribute to their spouse feeling neglected, feeling desire they want to have. That's how you want to feel. But in a perfect relationship, you should, but no relationship is perfect, right? It could be whatever going on, but you need to sit down with your spouse. Men need to sit down if they're feeling this way, and I hear a lot of times men say this, and that's why they always quick to just go out here and try to cheat. I've heard men say, "Hey, can you just cheat with me right quick? You got somebody because it's easier. She not giving me none at home, and I just want to go out here and get some." No. No. So that's not right.
It might not be easy when you divorce court either.
Exactly. Yeah. So keep that in mind. Two rights don't make a wrong. Right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Excuse me. That's true. So both people need to sit down and have an adult, courageous conversation. Men, you need to openly express to your woman,
"I need this. I need from this.
And if I don't get this, exactly. Yeah. And we will talk about this on the next on one of the upcoming episodes when we talk about sex. And sometimes the same thing with women. I've sat down with women and they said, "My man is not pleasing me. I just want to go out here and get a man that can tear this thing up." So the same question to you: is it okay? Can you give me a pass if I say, "Baby, I've been asking you to do it this way, do the way," you ain't even trying to listen because ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. But I go out here and I'm looking at John, and John whispering in my ear at the bar that he can do this, that, and the other to this guy.
Slam you up against that wall.
There you go. Right. And I'm like, "Oh, I've been asking my husband at home to do that for years, and he don't even want to try." But John right here whispering in my ear, "Is it okay for me to go up to room 329? Ain't that what you said? And just go ahead and see what John can do?"
John can do. John might be able to put it down.
Yeah. No. You gonna forgive me if I do that?
I will not.
Why?
Because that's not in my nature.
Why is not in your nature?
That's gonna be more hurtful. For a man, it's more hurtful for a woman to cheat on him than.
But y'all do it all the time.
Not y'all. Don't lump me in with the rest of them folks.
But men do it all the time.
Some men.
Some men do it all the time, and that's okay.
I say some boys.
Here we go. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna have a conversation on that because I don't understand.
Men versus women. We're gonna have all that conversation. I'm sure y'all got 942 questions for us, and we're gonna sit there and answer all of them.
I'm telling y'all can do some stuff.
My fellas prepared. The fellas I got, they prepared.
Oh well, I can't wait because they're going to bring it. Because us ladies, we got some questions.
Well, bring the questions
because y'all can do any and everything y'all want to do, and the moment it's done to y'all offset, y'all sitting back crying and in hurting and pain. I said what I said.
Funny how you mentioned that because that's what we kind of talking about next week. Ain't that the next topic?
What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
Jealousy from your ex. Is that our conversation for next week?
We're going to go right into it.
So we're gonna kind of touch on this Cardi B and Offset little situation they got going on.
Yes.
So thank you, y'all. I hate to stop like this, but we've been talking for a good little while.
We have.
We probably passed out time.
There we go.
It's all right. But thank you, listeners.
Thank you
again for listening in.
Continue to check us out.
Continue to check us out
on Business Podcast on Instagram.
Send us some fan mail about this week. This was a very good topic this week.
If we missed anything regarding forgiveness, let us know.
Sure, shoot us out.
If you had an example where you had to forgive someone and you had some good takeaways, let us know.
So please reach out, fan mail, DM us on Instagram. If you want to get in touch with us directly, DM us on Facebook or whatever. Just reach out. Let us know if y'all listen to this episode, what y'all thought about it. If we missed some things y'all might want to discuss, or if you got some hot story that you can tell us that we can share. Yep. Send it to us. We'll share it. We ain't got no problem with that.
Let us know.
We appreciate it. We love the interaction between our listeners.
Yes.
We get it on Instagram from our followers. We love to have it on the fan mail. Just shoot us whatever you can. Let us know what you think. Keep listening though. Please keep listening every week. And if you don't mind, share with somebody else. If you think the show's good, share with someone else. Let them know, hey, you should check out this podcast. It's pretty good. And that don't cost nothing for y'all to help us out in that way. Please just shoot it, pass it on to somebody else. that maybe we can encourage them or help them through situations.
Place, or they can help us.
Or help
Lord
us,
knows the way TC been last week. I'm gonna need a lot of help over here on this side.
I thought I gave you all the help you needed last night.
Okay, come on. Thank you, y'all. Have a good night.
Exactly.
Peace.
Peace.